Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is Ken Small and today we are talking about the Tripwire CEO's tweet, the reactions and actions coming from the people and other studios who have worked with the company. Now, if you have missed it, the CEO of Tripwire, John Gibson, was going to Twitter and just decided that today is a good day to burn down his whole company. Yeah, that's basically what he decided to do. And he said, and let's have a look at this. Proud of US Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often. Yet, with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. Oh boy. And well, we will take a look at the tweets coming from some of the companies who are working with Tripwires. And spoiler, they are not agreeing with him, and some have already cancelled their work with Tripwire. But let's talk about this tweet first. A lot of people say that, well, I might not agree with his views, and I think his views are pretty shitty. It is his personal views, right? He can look at it as however he so desires. The problem is, no, he cannot. Well, yes, he can have his personal views. I can have my personal views. I have some personal views some people will deem as drastic. But, and that's a big difference, it's my personal view. He decided to go on the record with his official president of Tripwire Interactive account and CEO and make it public. With that, it is not your personal view anymore. It becomes a public view, and that means you're basically working for your agenda. You are pushing that agenda. Like, that is the important part here. If Mr. John Gibson would have said this on a party at home, it would have been his personal views. Hell, if he would have used a private account to tweet that, it would have been his personal view. But he decided to do it on its official CEO account of the company. And with that, he basically damaged the company in the process. He also damaged all the people who are working at the company, and I'm also pretty sure that most women working at the company, which apparently they are not a lot, but most of them will probably not be happy with what he just said. And then, of course, there is the problem with this first sentence. He's proud of the US Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. Apparently some lawyers, like some real lawyers, already said that's actually not what the Supreme Court really did, and it's a bit more complicated, so that's apparently not what it is. But here's the big part: banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. No, that's not what the law is doing. The law is banning abortion of fetuses which are 6 weeks old. If you're asking science and scientists, which you probably should have done before you're blurping out your nonsense, is that it is actually not true that every baby or fetal has a heartbeat at 6 weeks. That is not true. It can happen a heartbeat at that point. But it doesn't have to. There have been actually a lot of pregnancies where the heartbeat didn't start before 10 weeks sometimes, or even later. And they had a complete normal pregnancy. And it happens quite often. And there's also no brain whatsoever, no brain activity. Like at 6 weeks, you're speaking about a clump of flesh. There's nothing there. So what he's saying here is wrong. Or, well, he isn't informed and he is pushing for an agenda he knows nothing about. And both things are not great. A, he is lying, or B, he is just not informed. Well, maybe both. Who knows nowadays? But so already this part, it's bullshit. And the second part is an entertainer. I don't get political often. Well, first of all, you are a CEO. I wouldn't necessarily call you an entertainer, but sure, let's go with that. I don't get political. When I read that, look, I am not getting political often. Ha! The problem is that companies, politics, and unfortunately, our form of entertainment is pretty close to each other. We have so many games who have political messages in it. We have games which were influenced by policies and politics. Like there is so much going on, right? To say that you're not getting political often, even though you are just very much political every day. Like I was believing this, especially when I started streaming. I was personally believing that I'm not political. Well, don't get me wrong. I don't talk about who I vote for. I do not talk about my specific political views because they are my personal views. And when I'm on my live stream, I'm doing my YouTube videos like this one here right now, then I do not talk about those things, because then they wouldn't be my personal views anymore and I would be on the record, so to speak. But everything we are doing is to a certain degree political, which is rather unfortunate, to be told. I would have loved it would be different. But especially nowadays, and if you were in the video game industry is highly political. And not just in America, in Europe as well. So what he's basically trying to say here is, I don't get political often, / I only get political when I can really burn down my company, so to speak. It's like, dude, like, no. And he's saying it himself. Yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life developer. Dude, isn't it rather interesting that a man is like anti-abortion, especially where he will never have to think about to carry out a baby? He can never become pregnant. And he is supporting the decision of other men to decide if a woman has to stay pregnant or not, and what it can do to the women. I was like, yeah, like, I don't think you have the experience to give a comment. Like, I'm without getting political here, as you like to say, I don't think you're in a position to give your 2 cents about what is right and what is not right, what a woman can do with her body. Yeah. But you know what's the funniest thing about this? The funniest thing for me is when a man is spurting out he is pro-life. And I'm just like, question. As a man, I can ask that question. How often have you, masturbated this week? How often did you had sex without, perceiving a child? Because the last time I checked science, our sperms are very much alive, right? So technically you are killing babies every day? Or every time you don't like perceive a child with sex, or you masturbate? It's like, how far do we want to go back when it comes to creating kids before we say, okay, this is now getting a little bit ridiculous? And I don't get political often, but I do believe that with the new Texas law, we have reached the point where we are going a little bit too far back to decide if like a life, well, in this case, not even a life at this point, but if a being in the making is being stopped or not. Like, that's the problem. Like, as I said, the same goes with like the eggs of the women. Like, how far do you want to go back there? Like every month they are not conceiving a child. They have just killed a life. Like, no, that's bullshit. So, and of course, do not forget to put like the tip of the iceberg all on this is it's not just that abortions are being now banned at 6 weeks in Texas, but you can also basically like rat out the women who are doing it anyways, and you can make money from it. $10,000. I was like, yeah, no. Like, he chose the worst topic to take his own personal political views and make them public. And he should have just kept this as his personal views. And now I might say, well, yeah, so what? Well, welcome to life, because there are consequences here. And the first consequence is coming with Publisher Studios, which are one of the creators of Shipwright 2, and they just posted their own message. And they were saying, we do not share the opinion expressed in the recent tweet by the president of Tripwire, publisher of Shipwright 2. This perspective is not shared by our team, nor is it reflected in the games we create. The statement stands in opposition to what we believe about women's rights. So, of course, this is only like, yeah, we are not standing with this. And they will probably, for the next projects, think about like supporting them ever again. And well, I said it in the tweet that there is a problem with this though. And the problem is that I totally understand that Tom Banner are the developers and they made an amazing game, which needs to be supported in my opinion. But the problem is, the moment I'm supporting Shipwright 2, part of that support, aka my money, will go to Tripwire and will land directly in the pocket of the CEO, which will probably use the money to push his agenda. Because lobbying is a big thing with companies and even in the video game industry. So it's like, I have no interest in supporting any of the Tripwire games going on forward. Because even if the developers are not at fault here, and they are just caught in the crossfire, and I am really, really sorry about this, but every time I'm spending money on those games, I'm supporting a guy who is, again, an absolutely abysmal person who has A, no clue what he is talking about, or he is an absolute liar. But it's not just Tom Banner who was actually going out there and was like, yo, what the hell? Like, they were not the only one. Good news is that, let me see, what's the name? Shipwright Studios actually also came forward, and Shipwright Studios is in a position to push the whole thing further, and they cut now all the ties with Tripwire Interactive. Let me show you what Shipwright Studios were actually writing. While your politics are your own, the moment you make them a matter of public discourse, you entangle all of those working for and with you. Yeah, that's basically what I said before, right? Like, you can have your personal political views on something, but the moment you make them public on your official account, they are not your personal political views anymore. They become public views. We have worked closely alongside the talented and passionate developers at Tripwire and our partners for the last 3 years. If you're wondering what Shipwright worked on, they also worked on Chivalry 2, and they did Maneater. Yep. Those are the last 2 big games they actually worked on. And they said, we know it is difficult for employees to speak up or act out in those scenarios, and they may not feel comfortable to speak their minds. It is regrettable, but we feel it would be doing ourselves, our employees, our partners, and the industry as a whole a disservice to allow those patterns to continue without comment. We started Shipwright with the idea that it was finally time to put our money where our mouth is. We cannot in good conscience continue to work with Tripwire under the current leadership structure. We will begin the cancellation of our existing contracts, effective immediately. So they have already lost a studio who has done a lot of work for Tripwire and who has produced some good games or has worked on some good games. And, well, today is Monday, and people are slowly waking up in the US at this point in time where I recorded. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last studio. Keep in mind, not every studio can immediately left a contract. That's very important to note. Like, some people were like, hey, Tom Banner Studios, why are you not canceling just the contracts with them immediately? And the answer is probably pretty simple. They can't. The contracts are legally binding, and they will probably get their business destroyed by Tripwire the moment they try to get out. But as I said before, like, in the future, I can see that they will not work with Tripwire ever again. Or the moment they can leave their contracts with Tripwire, they will leave. So, whatever your thoughts on this are, I am pretty sure that we can all agree that with this tweet, that person has been doing a disservice to all the publishers, all the games and all the studios which are working for that publisher. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. That now other people who are working on this company have to suffer for the views of the CEO because he couldn't keep them his personal views. Again, I'm not agreeing with those views at all. Like, not at all. But yeah, it's just like, don't. Like, if you don't want to become political, then keep your personal political views where they belong. And that is on your personal Twitter account or at home. Simple as that. But yeah, if anything else big happens, I would definitely keep you informed. And for all the people who are now watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We're at the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you might consider to click on the like button. If you didn't like this video for whatever reason, well, the dislike button is right next to it. If you're also new to the channel, you want to see more gaming news, reaction videos, we have the PlayStation event coming up, I'm really looking forward to, and many other things we're doing here on a daily basis on the channel. I would appreciate if you might want to subscribe to the channel. It will help me out a big deal, and it's also completely for free. And if you ever want to catch me and my community live, you can do so on trovo.live/chaosmall, and we are streaming there from Monday to Friday starting at 9 AM ET. And we would definitely welcome here. So thank you so much for watching, and stay safe, and I hope I see you next time. Bye bye.